I saw a ton of movies this year in 2025, and I'm here to review all of them. I saw 27 movies, in fact. Me and my friends decided to get AMC A-List and see everything that we could this year. So I saw a lot of movies, and I'm here to review all of them. I'm going to review every single movie that I saw this year in theaters and tell you what I thought about them. I rated everything on a scale from 0 to 5 stars. I also did not see every movie this year. There's probably movies that aren't on this list where you're like, well, why didn't you see that? Sorry, I saw a lot of movies, but I can't see everything. Sorry. But I saw a lot, and I'm going to review everything that I saw. I'm not going to review them in order from worst to best. I'm going to review them in order from when I saw them. So oldest to newest of this year. So without further ado, let's review some movies, shall we? We come to this place for magic. That indescribable feeling we get when the lights begin to dim. Dazzling images on a huge silver screen. Somehow, heartbreak feels good in a place like this, and stories feel perfect and powerful. Because here...
I love this movie!
The first movie that I saw this year was Mickey 17. Mickey 17 is directed by Bong Joon-ho, who also directed Parasite, and Parasite is awesome. This movie is based off a book, I think called Mickey 7, actually, and it's basically a movie about a guy who's down on his luck, so he decides to join this large space station thing and become basically an expendable person, where he does really terrifying things that most likely are going to get him killed, and when he dies, a clone of himself is remade, and he does it again, and he'll do something else, and he accidentally in this movie, stuff happens, as most movies, that's what happens. And they end up having two clones at the same time, which is a big no-no. And so they're trying to, stop the bad guys and the big corporation and everything. This movie is not a movie that I'll probably see again. It was fine. It wasn't amazing. It was fine. I thought Mark Ruffalo's teeth were pretty funny. He had really big teeth. It was okay, and I give this 3 stars. The next movie that I saw was Snow White, and did I see it in IMAX? And did I see it at 10 or 10:30 p.m. at night? Yes, I did, and I had a great time, but this movie is not very good. Rachel Zegler is Snow White, and she does a pretty good job, actually. She can sing pretty well, but Gal Gadot, what are we doing?
Take him away! The wall. Who is the fairest of them all?
You're probably a very nice person, but maybe you do something else for a while, because you are not a very good actress. I don't know. This movie was not great, and I didn't like it. I wanted to judge it fairly. It got a bunch of hate early on, so I wanted to judge it fairly, and it's not very good. And that's that. The next movie that I saw was Death of a Unicorn. This is starring Paul Rudd and Jenna Ortega. This is an A24 movie where a dad and a daughter are going to a business retreat thing with the family, and on their way run over a magical unicorn and kill it, and freak out and don't know what to do with it. So they take it to the place, and these rich people decide that they want to cut it up and find out how to use the magic for other stuff that they can sell. And then other unicorns come and try to attack them all, and it turns into this horror-esque thing where a bunch of evil-looking unicorns are trying to attack people. This movie was one of my biggest disappointments of the year, because I thought the premise sounded really fun, and I was excited for it, and I saw it, and not much really happens of interest. It was kind of boring. It was pretty straightforward. You could guess what was going to happen. It was kind of mid. But I thought the unicorn design looked really cool, so there's that. Yeah, I don't know. Probably won't ever watch this again. 2 out of 5. The next movie that I saw was the Minecraft movie, Chicken Jockey. Genuinely, the biggest frustration that I had with the Minecraft movie was that my theater was not one of the theaters where everyone, when Jack Black says chicken jockey, my theater didn't freak out and start throwing popcorn everywhere like all these other theaters got to do. My theater just kind of was there. And so that was kind of a big letdown. I was really hoping that I could experience everyone screaming and throwing popcorn and everything, but I didn't. Other than that, this movie was fine. It was kind of boring. It was whatever. I won't ever watch it again, but it was better than Snow White. 2.5 stars. The next movie I saw was called The Amateur, and this is a movie starring Rami Malek, and he's like a computer guy, and he works for the FBI or the CIA or something, and his wife dies, and he gets really mad, and so he decides to kill a bunch of people and figure out why his wife died, is I think what the movie was about. It was very forgettable, and I will never watch it again. Mid. 2 stars. The next movie that I saw was Warfare. Warfare is a movie about a group of Navy SEALs who go into a house and basically just have to stay there until they are evacuated out. And it is apparently a real scenario that actually happened, and the director worked very closely with the actual SEALs that went through this on everything about it. The movie doesn't feel as much like a story as it does that you're watching kind of like an actual simulation of what happened play out, and I really enjoyed it. It was really cool. The sound design was really cool, and I really enjoyed the movie. It is not for everybody, but tell me this song is not super hype after watching that movie. So anyways, it was really good. Go see Warfare. I really liked it. The next movie I saw was Thunderbolts. This is one of those Marvels.
There's a new Marvel out that's supposed to be nuts. We should go see that.
I haven't watched a Marvel movie in a very long time. I have no idea what's going on in the Marvel universe. I haven't watched any of the TV shows. I kind of stopped with majority of people after Endgame. But I saw this because AMC's basically paying me to go see movies, so I did. And this movie was pretty good. I think Florence Pugh's character is really interesting and probably the best thing Marvel's got going for them right now. And I actually really enjoyed it. I thought everybody did a really great job. I thought the villain of the movie was interesting. I thought it was pretty good. I mean, it was a Marvel movie, but I think it was one of the better Marvel movies that I've seen in a long time. 3.5 stars. The next movie that I saw was Sinners. Sinners stars Michael B. Jordan. It is about 2 twins, Smoke and Stack, who decide to open a juke joint and throw a party. And the night that they do that, a bunch of Irish vampires basically come and try to attack everybody and eat everybody. And if that doesn't sound awesome, then I don't know what to tell you. It was really fun. I really enjoyed this movie. I thought it was really fun. I think this is one of the more creative movies of the year, premise-wise, and I really enjoyed it. So go see Sinners. It was really fun. The next movie that I saw was Friendship. Friendship is a Tim Robinson movie where this guy just is like a weirdo and makes some friends, and then he hangs out with them for a while, and then an incident occurs and they tell him that they don't think they should be friends anymore, and he kind of freaks out and gets all weird about stuff, is pretty much what it is. Tim Robinson is a very specific strand of comedy. If you've ever seen I Think You Should Leave, you'd probably know kind of what that is. This movie kind of is exactly what it sounds like, which is A24 and Tim Robinson's comedy kind of team up, like they partner up. That's pretty much what it feels like. It wasn't like my favorite thing on my first watch when I saw it in theaters. I was like, some of it was hilarious, and some of it I was like, this is kind of just weird and not the vibe I was hoping for in a movie like this. I rated it a 2.5 out of 5, but I think genuinely it's probably more like a 3 star. It'll probably go up on my next watch. However, I will say, as a little extra plug, The Chair Company on HBO, Tim Robinson's new TV show, is so good. You should go watch it. Actually, after watching The Chair Company, I now very much want to go back and watch Friendship again because I think I will like it a lot more now that I know what to expect. 2.5 stars. The next movie that I saw was The Phoenician Scheme. Phoenician Scheme is Wes Anderson's newest movie. It's basically a movie about a guy who owns a ton of stuff and decides to call in a bunch of favors and wants to give all of his belongings to his daughter and needs to call in a bunch of favors from a bunch of other crime lords and stuff, if I remember correctly. It's been a while. This movie was good. It was a Wes Anderson movie. I love Wes Anderson, or I have in the past. Grand Budapest Hotel is one of my favorite movies, and it was my favorite for a long time. This one is very much like those. I thought this was better than Asteroid City, which came out recently, or before this. I thought Michael Cera was awesome, and I really enjoyed watching Tom Hanks and Walter White, whatever his name is, play basketball. Why do I forget? Why do I not remember his name? What was his name? Bryan Cranston. I really liked watching Tom Hanks and Bryan Cranston play basketball. That was really fun. If you like Wes Anderson, you'll probably like this one. 3.5 stars. The next movie that I saw was Ballerina. This is a movie taking place in the John Wick universe. I am a huge John Wick fan. I love everything John Wick. The Continental as just like an idea is like my favorite thing ever. I love when a movie or a setting or a world creates rules that everybody just chooses to follow, even if they're kind of ridiculous. And the Continental, I think, is a great example of that. Stars Ana de Armas, and she plays as one of the ballerinas from the Ballerina Assassin Guild that you've seen in some of the other John Wick movies. Timeline-wise, this one doesn't really make a whole lot of sense to me, but it doesn't really matter. All the choreography is really cool, all the fighting choreography. I gave this movie a 4 star. However, it's probably closer to like a 3 or like a 3.5, but I am seeing it through the lens of I love everything John Wick and will eat it all up. So I really liked it. I gave it a 4. Go check this one out if you like John Wick. The next movie I saw was F1 starring Brad Pitt. This movie is exactly what you think it is. It's a bunch of cool F1 races and some drama. This was directed by the guy who did Top Gun Maverick. I forget his name. Pop it up on screen. Everything that it expects you to be in the theater for, it delivers on. The races are really cool. I also heard that the races were actually all filmed like they're real F1 races, and all of everything that happens, crashes and everything in the movie is all actually real and actually happened, and they pretty much just reskinned it for the movie. I thought this movie was really, really fun. I really liked seeing it in IMAX. It was very loud.
And if you ever need confidence in your car,
it's not the deepest movie ever. You know where the plot is going from the very beginning of the movie, but it's fun. I liked it. Go see this one. I gave it 4 stars. The next movie I saw was Superman, directed by James Gunn. This one was fun. I very distinctly remember this movie having a lot of color, and I liked that. I feel like superhero movies, especially all these Marvel movies, are all just gray and brown now. So I liked seeing a bunch of colorful superheroes running around. I thought it was fine. I thought James Gunn did the James Gunn thing where he kind of ruins dramatic or emotional moments with jokes, and that definitely happens a good bit, but it was fine. I'm not mad at it, and I'm excited to see what else happens with this universe that he's making. So we'll see. 3.5 stars. The next movie I saw is arguably the worst movie that I saw this year, Jurassic World Rebirth. This movie is bad. This stars Scarlett Johansson, and she is asked to go to an island with a bunch of dinosaurs to steal stuff from 3 different dinosaurs to make a cure for cancer that then they can sell or something. It was bad. It was not good. Don't go see this movie. That's it. Yeah, there's not a single thing that I can say about this movie that I was like, that's cool. I guess there's that one shot in the trailer where they're in like big grass and you see like a tail go up. It's like, cool. That was a cool shot, I guess. Everything else sucks. Oh, and then the T-Rex swims. So the T-Rex swims. So that's cool. Who cares? 0.5 star. The next movie I saw is Materialists. This movie stars Dakota Johnson and Chris Evans and Pedro Pascal. This movie is just kind of like a romantic drama movie. It was okay. I thought Chris Evans did a great job. Pedro Pascal was there, but Dakota Johnson seemed she couldn't be more bored. She seemed so bored in every scene she was in. She just did not care. I don't know if it was her character, because it didn't seem like her character would be bored. She was not great.
Give me a call if you want to meet somebody.
But overall, the movie was okay. It wasn't the worst thing I've seen this year. And it was cute. So I gave it a 3 stars. It's probably more like a 2.5, but it was a 3 stars. Cute. The next movie that I saw was Eddington. This is directed by Ari Aster, who has done Midsommar and Hereditary and Beau is Afraid, all very weird movies. Hereditary and Midsommar being very creepy movies. Eddington is a movie about a small town in New Mexico called Eddington, where the sheriff of that town decides in the year 2020 to run for mayor. And he runs against a mayor that's already there. They have conflicting politics. This movie is basically 2020 the movie, and I think it does a very good job of showing all the ridiculousness about 2020 in a very good way. It shows the conspiracy theory people and the people that were super into politics at the time, or in whatever aspect or lane you were in. I think it was really fun. I really like this movie. I still think about it a lot, and I think that people are going to look back on it and really enjoy it. I think right now people don't really want to relive 2020 or COVID, so they don't want to watch it, but it does a great job of going through all of those ridiculous things and showing how crazy kind of everybody was being at the time. So I think this is a movie that people will look back on and be like, dang, he nailed it. But I would recommend this one. Go see Eddington. I gave it a 4 stars. The next movie I saw was The Accountant 2. Now, I have seen The Accountant 1, but I don't remember a single thing that happens in The Accountant 1. It has left my brain. I remember that Ben Affleck is an accountant, and he's also like a hitman. And that's pretty much it. The movie starts with Ben Affleck's character speed dating, and he's like trying to meet ladies, but he's like kind of a weirdo, so he doesn't match with anybody. And then he finally meets somebody that he might match with. And I thought it would be really fun if like one of the ladies he met like got captured or something, and he had to go free her, and his kind of weirdly, he's just a weird guy. But they didn't do that. They did this whole other plot, and I genuinely can't remember why it was important or who cares about it. All I remember is that he has a basement full of child hackers.
I got it.
Aiden, your turn.
2 stars. The next movie that I saw was The Naked Gun, starring Liam Neeson. And this was one of my favorite movies of the year. Definitely the sleeper pick. Very surprised that this was good. I decided to watch all the Naked Gun movies this year for the first time, and I found that I really enjoyed a lot of them. They get worse as they go, but the first one was really, really fun, and I liked it a lot. I did not have very high hopes for this movie because it's kind of relaunching the franchise, and most movies that do that never nail it. This movie was surprisingly very good, very funny. It paid a ton of respect to the original 3 and the types of comedy that they used. I really, really liked this one. I would recommend going to see The Naked Gun. It was really, really fun. Go check it out. The next movie I watched was... The best part about this movie was that it was over. And what I mean by that is for a long time in theaters, they'd show these Fantastic Four trailers, and it was just this giant, like, they'd use the stupid little jingle thing all the time. I actually kind of enjoyed this movie. I thought it was pretty good. I thought the space stuff was really cool. I really liked the segments when they were in space. However, Galactus felt like he was kind of like a big AI robot guy. He kind of looks like what I remember early AI art looking like when you tried to make it do sci-fi stuff. That's what Galactus looked like. I'm just glad that I don't have to hear the jingle anymore. Play one more time for the way out. The next movie I saw was Weapons. Weapons is a horror movie about a bunch of kids all in the same 3rd grade class, I think. They get up out of bed at 2:17 and they run into the nighttime, and and nobody knows where they went. They go missing all at the same time, and they do this cool Naruto pose as they run. It is a very scary, spooky movie, and I really liked it. I am not a horror guy. I do not like horror movies. I do not like horror stuff. But I was so fascinated with this movie and the premise of it that I had to go see it. And like I said, AMC's basically paying me to see movies at this point. I mean, come on. So I went, and it was awesome. And it was really fun. I don't want to say much about it, but I had a great time. I think the way that they go through the movie, they kind of show you a bunch of different characters' perspectives of the same thing happening, and it's very, very cool. I would highly recommend this movie. 4 stars. It's closer to a 4.5 than a 3.5. The next movie I saw was Honey Don't. This is a detective movie starring Margaret Qualley, and she is basically trying to figure out this weird case with this priest guy who is played by Chris Evans. This movie's pretty forgettable. The ending was pretty lame, and I don't really remember much other than Charlie Day was pretty funny, and there's a lot of naked Chris Evans in the movie. He's naked a lot. So if that's your cup of tea, go see it. Oh, and Margaret Qualley's character was cool, but she didn't do a whole lot. Pretty forgettable. 2 out of 5. The next movie I saw was The Roses, starring Olivia Colman and Benedict Cumberbatch. This is like a rom-com kind of movie where this couple has some crazy career changes where the dad loses his job, but the mom's job takes off, and they're trying to balance like what life is going to look like for them. It's a fun little movie. It's based on a book, apparently. I really enjoyed it. I thought the ending was clever and interesting and fun. I would recommend this movie if you like little rom-coms. There were some funny moments, and I remember enjoying this one a good bit. I gave this one 3.5 stars. Wouldn't be mad if I saw this one again. The next movie I saw was One Battle After Another, starring Leonardo DiCaprio. This is directed by Paul Thomas Anderson. I have never seen a Paul Thomas Anderson movie before, so this was my first one, and I liked it a lot. I left the theater being like, dang, that was a lot. It's also like 3.5 hours long, so I left the theater like exhausted. Like, man, that was a whole lot. I don't know what to think. I think I liked it, but I don't really know. But I have continued to think about this movie a lot as I have sat on it. I think this movie is a great epic, if you will. It's a fun story. There's so many interesting sets and places and characters, and the villain of this movie is just so creepy and weird. I really enjoyed it. So I gave this one a 4.5 stars. Go check it out. The next movie I saw is Begonia. Begonia is a movie starring Emma Stone and Jesse Plemons. It's a movie about two cousins who believe that a billionaire CEO lady is actually secretly an alien trying to take over the world. So they decide to kidnap her and torture her until she confesses to being an alien. And it's exactly what I just said is if you think that's weird, yeah, it's kind of crazy like that. But that's what happens in the movie. And so it's a lot of that, and it is weird but very fun. I enjoyed it a lot more than I thought I was going to. Jesse Plemons is the king of being a creepy guy. And I really enjoyed this movie. I actually would recommend you go check this out. Begonia, it was very fun. And it's shot in a weird aspect ratio, so I liked that too. It was a cool movie. Check it out. 4 stars. The next movie I saw was The Running Man, starring Glenn Powell. This is a movie about a guy who joins a game show to win $6 billion. He needs to survive 30 days while the entire world is basically hunting him down. There's a group of hitmen that are hunting him down, and the whole world can give them clues of where he is. So he has to stay alive for 30 days. And this is actually the second time this movie has been made. There was one with Arnold Schwarzenegger back in the day. I never saw that one, but I've heard it's good. This is also based off of a Stephen King novel, and it is fine. It's okay. And I saw this, and I was like, okay, whatever. It was pretty forgettable. Everything was gray. You know, it was whatever. But then I found out that Edgar Wright directed this. And Edgar Wright has done Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, Baby Driver. He did Shaun of the Dead, Hot Fuzz. And then I got really disappointed. All of his movies are very uniquely stylized. And there was not a single thing that was unique or interesting about this movie, even though he had so much that he could have played with. Like, all the hitmen are wearing these like goofy suits the whole time, and it's like a game show of like killing people, but like it didn't seem like he did a whole lot with it. It was boring. It was like kind of lame. I was wishing that he went way more over the top than he did. So this one was pretty forgettable. 2 stars. The next movie I saw was Now You See Me, Now You Don't, and this might take the cake as the worst movie that I've seen this year. I was the most upset at this movie. I'll say that. The first Now You See Me movie I have not seen in a long time, but I remember enjoying. It was fun. I liked the idea of magician criminals, and the mystery behind how they did what they did was very interesting and fun. And the second one I didn't really care for. I couldn't really tell you anything except for Daniel Radcliffe was in it. But other than that, whatever. This movie is bad. This movie has some of the goofiest lines and weirdest things. Like, they have this part where everybody's just like showing off their magic skills to each other, but they're doing like really basic tricks, or at least for how good of magic they're supposed to be, it seemed pretty basic. Nobody in this was interesting. Everyone was boring, and the big like reveal at the end felt very similar to the second movie, and that's all I'll say about that. But I was not a fan. I thought this was really lame, and I was really upset at this movie because I wanted to at least be entertained, and I didn't feel entertained in the slightest. It was bad. I laughed a couple times, but not because they wanted me to laugh, but because it was stupid. 1.5 stars, closer to a 1 than a 2. The next movie I saw was Sisu Road to Revenge. Sisu is a Finnish gentleman who likes to kill Nazis. He's basically the Finnish version of John Wick, and he's a cool guy, and he has a cool dog. But this time the dog doesn't die. Spoilers for John Wick 1. In this movie, the Soviets take over a little bit more of Finland, so he decides to take apart his log cabin and move it across the border and rebuild it. And as he's doing that, he runs into all these problems because all the Soviets want to kill him. And he is basically an immortal killer man. I thought this movie was better than the first Sisu movie just because it felt a little bit more emotional and heavy than the first one, and I liked that. But other than that, it was not super memorable. The kills were kind of cool. You're basically watching this movie the whole time being like, dang, like there's no way that this guy would live through that, but he does again. So, there's that. Other than that, it was whatever. I thought it was fine. 3 stars. And the last movie that I've seen so far this year was Marty Supreme. I saw this on Christmas Eve. I was very excited for the movie. Timothée Chalamet has been hyping the crap out of this movie, doing things like standing on top of the sphere and making a rap song with a guy that everybody thought was actually him for a long time, and going on Jimmy Fallon and just saying Marty Supreme a bunch of times.
Marty Supreme, Christmas Day, Marty Supreme, Dream Big, Marty Supreme, Christmas Day.
And he walks around with these dudes that have giant ping pong balls on their heads. He's been really hyping this one up, and I get it. And he's going hard, and he's doing really well. And I think the movie's going to do very well because of that alone. This movie is directed by Josh Safdie, who also directed Uncut Gems. And if you've seen Uncut Gems, you've pretty much seen Marty Supreme. They're both movies that are very chaotic and stressful, and there's so much anxiety, and you're on the edge of your seat the whole time wondering what's going to happen, and it's very exciting. It's a great ride, and it's very fun. And this one just has to do with ping pong instead of jewelry. And I liked it a lot. I really did. I had a great time. I thought it was fun. But I can't say that it was better than Uncut Gems. They felt very similar to me in a lot of ways. I think that Timothée Chalamet will most likely win Best Actor for this. He killed it, and he did a great job. But I think if the hype wasn't as massive for it as it is, I think people would just be like, yeah, that's Uncut Gems Ping Pong Edition. Still very good, but that's kind of what I would say. But go see it. It was a fun time, and it is a ride. If you like movies that are basically like the worst day of your life, and you're also a ping pong player and Tyler, the Creator, is there, that's pretty much what this movie is. And it's fun. So those are all the movies that I have seen in 2025. Go to the movie theater. Watch movies in the movie theaters. I had a great time. I have never seen this many movies in a year in theaters, and I had a wonderful, wonderful time, and I'm very excited for 2026. We had some great movies in 2025. I don't know which one was my favorite. All right. That's it. Hey, click subscribe. Subscribe to the channel and comment below your favorite movie of this year, whether you saw it in theaters or not, or if you disagree with me on any of these takes. Let's fight in the comments. Anyways, that's it. Thank you for watching. Peace.